What up, though, with your boy KG? Welcome to another exciting episode, this time breaking through an audio and video of the one and only legendary King of Indies podcast. I am joined today by two very esteemed and established guests in the wrestling scene. First to my left, maybe at your right, is my man Marcus Mack, who heads up a company you might know about called All Pro Wrestling. What up, Marcus Mack?
Hey, KG, what's going on, my man? Great to be here. The King of Indies is coming at you. I'm excited.
That's the truth. Marcus Mack, the greatest part about him is that's how he sounds at all times. You know what I mean? It's not a gimmick. It's a shoot. Reminiscent perhaps of the great Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah, brother.
And, of course, on the other side here, on my good side, is a man. He goes by the name of Gabe Ramirez, and he heads up a very well-established Lucha Libre company known as Pro Wrestling Revolution right here in San Jose, California. But you're not just limited to one geographical location. Welcome to the show, Gabe.
You know, I always thought I was good on the mic until I met you two fuckers. I feel like I'm dealing with, like, Wolfman Puck and shit, and it's like, hey, baby doll. So
that's a new gimmick, Wolfman.
Yeah, it's
Puck.
like you guys are like all over the fucking. You guys like these catchphrases and shit, and hey baby, daddy, yo, and hi guys, I'm Gabriel Ramirez from Pro Wrestling Revolution. Thank you for letting us come into your home. I mean, I have no fucking clue what to say, but
that's good. That's good.
But yeah, Pro Wrestling Revolution. We're doing California, we're doing Nevada, we're doing Arizona, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Oklahoma.
That's it. Only those towns.
That's it.
Those smaller, the B towns, so to speak.
I tell you what, though, Oklahoma was a bomb. Have you ever had a fried,
you ever
have a fried pickle?
I have not. I had pickles earlier today, though. I'm a pickle fan.
That's your deal. But have you ever had fried pickles?
No, sir.
Fried pickles.
And of course,
boom.
And maybe
topic worldwide.
See, like, where the fuck does that come from? Like, where does that come? Like, what is that? What did you just do? Like,
Boom, boom. Trending topic worldwide.
It's like that fucking cheerleader movie, like. What's that movie? Like the girls go against each other, get all fucking crazy, and the cheerleaders.
Oh, is it one of those dance battle movies?
Yeah, that's what. I need to watch more urban movies.
I haven't seen that one, Gabe.
But maybe I'm guilty of having too much fun up here. I'm sorry if I'm injecting too much levity into these proceedings. Perhaps the highball energy, that sweet caffeine intermingled with those carbonated bubbles, perhaps affecting my medulla oblongata. But I digress because we're not here to talk about that, Marcus Mack and Gabe Ramirez. What we're here to talk about is the most exciting wrestling tournament, first of all, that's ever been done. Second of all, that's coming back. It's coming back WrestleMania weekend as part of the WWN Live experience. And how about this for a dramatic reveal? We're the three people behind the tournament. There you go.
I know you hate it.
The secret's out, but it's the truth. Well, yeah, we're putting this. We can curse. It's our podcast. We're putting this shit together for y'all, right? Or did I just ruin it by cursing?
Fuck yes. That work for you?
Yes, that does work. So, I mean, Marcus Mack, let me throw it over to you here for a few minutes. What can you tell us about, for those that don't know, what is the King of the Indies tournament? Give us a little bit of the background and the histrionics, if you will.
Well, the King of Indies tournament started off as a dream, a vision of the late, great Roland Alexander, who was a Northern California promoter. Many know him from Beyond the Mat. Many know him from the King of Indies. He started this tournament back in 2000. Everybody seems to think that 2001 was the first one, but it actually happened in 2000.
Right.
And Roland, the perfectionist that he was not happy with the outcome of that first one. He said, you know what, next year, the first one was an 8-man tournament.
Correct.
And he said, you know what, next year, that's it. We're going to go hard, go home. We're going to make it twice as good, and we're going to get the greatest talent together under one roof. This is 2001, folks. We're talking about guys like AJ Styles, Adam Pearce, Brian Kendrick, Loki, Christopher Daniels, Super Dragon, Bison Smith, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, yes. Yes, yes, folks. These guys all were put on the map that historic evening or 2 evenings in Vallejo, California. Now, 15 years later, the tournament comes your way. San Jose, California. We bring 16 of the hottest independent wrestlers who need that look, that just need to dream, to San Jose, California as part of the WWN experience. And KG, I'm excited as ever. Gabe Ramirez, I know you're chomping at the bit. March couldn't come any sooner. What do you say?
You know, for me, doing King of Indies is a lot of pressure. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. As excited as I am to be part of the team hosting King of Indies, along comes a lot of pressure. King of Indies was something that, if you think about it, should not be touched. It's almost like you watch a great movie and you say there can't be a part 2 because they'll ruin it. But thinking, what we're trying to do with King of Indies is what Roland did in 2001 cannot be done again. It will never be repeated. It's impossible. The world of technology has overtaken what was not available in 2001. Right now you can get a hold of any wrestler worldwide through Facebook, through a Twitter. 2001, the most you had was AOL, and it was not at the level that it is now. So think about having to reach out to all these talents like Doug Williams and AJ Styles, who at that point in time was only working NWA Wildside per se. Moving forward to where we're at now, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, not only on us as the promoters, but the pressure is also on the talent. Because the talent that's coming on board, as we know, there's a lot of them who want to be on it. The pressure is also on you. Look at the 16 that were there before you, and look at where we're at now. It's going to be a tough task. I'm excited. I can't wait. I believe no matter what happens after this tournament's over, it's a win-win. We cannot lose because the focus is us putting a shine on California wrestling. And I know a lot of talent has reached out to me, and a lot of you guys here as well, saying, hey, it's not fair. I think you should put this guy and that guy and that guy. We understand. We understand that we think all of you should shine. But again, we're doing this to pay homage, pay tribute, to our brother, to my brother, who broke me in, to Roland Alexander. I want to extend his dream. I want to pay tribute to what he taught me, his thoughts of California being an island, California not being respected. But if this is what we can do to pay back to him, pay back the area that we're in, we have to make it happen. And if we don't take the opportunity to make it happen during this weekend that we're making it happen to WrestleMania weekend, then we should never do it at all. This is the time to do it.
That's a really good point. And like you said, I think as much as it's a tribute to Roland and his legacy, it's also, as Marcus alluded to, I think it's that jump off point. It's that springboard, right, that there's so much good talent out here. And as you know, it's often, we've been doing the interview rounds on, we've been on, my bad, Shining Wizards, PW Torch, WrestleView, PW Insider, doing all these interviews. And on every interview, the same thing comes up. They're always like, all right, I'll admit it, I'm not too familiar with California wrestling, but, they got Gorilla out there and they got Championship Wrestling from Hollywood or whatever. And it seems to be a lot of the world's perception of wrestling in this area, when there's so much more talent that isn't getting seen. And that's part of my hope for this tournament and this whole endeavor, is that a lot of these really hardworking talents that just need that look, they need that opportunity to work on a big stage.
But who's at fault? Is the media on the East Coast at fault, or are we at fault?
Right.
Because if they're bringing up Gorilla, and if they're bringing up Marquez's wrestling, from LA, and if they're not bringing our area in the conversation, is that our fault?
Right. No. In other words, I would say yes, it is. You know what I mean? I think we could always, I would always put it on us that everyone, the collective us, could all make more noise to get ourselves on these people's radar. You know what I mean?
Or is it that Southern California has united quicker than we have in Northern California? And that's a real question.
No, that's a good point. It's a very good point. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think many of us are at fault. I think that it's the promotions out here, the egos, and egos are going to come with any promoter and anybody in this business, But like you were saying, maybe Southern California is uniting a little faster than us, but at the same time, we're talking about a state that's the size of the entire East Coast. We're talking about a state that's perhaps the second, third biggest in the nation.
Right.
We're talking about the entire left coast, the west coast. I think that I think that we have a chance here to show that we're not just that graveyard. We're not just the left coast. We don't get a lot of media coverage, but we can show that we have some of the best talent out here. We have the entire California. There are so many wrestlers throughout Northern California, Southern California, throughout the United States. Back in the days, it was amazing when you would look through the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and say, wow, 500 wrestlers? Jesus, there's probably 500 guys who think they're wrestlers just in California alone, you know?
Yeah, we can go into a whole
Right, we're about to
different
go on a swerve
podcast
here.
for that. You know what I mean?
The behind the scenes for the VIP subscribers.
You know, but I think the internet, obviously made professional wrestling bigger. In a sense, like if it wasn't for the internet, I don't believe ECW would ever hit that huge point.
Yeah.
Because tape trading was huge and so on. But the same way I broke into this industry, I was a mark, sitting in front row. We all were, and I just knew that I wanted to be part of it more and more and more. But sometimes we live in our own little bubble. We live in our own bubble. We drink our own Kool-Aid per se. That's for you, brother. We drink our own Kool-Aid, and we end up. Perfect example. Mr. KG, he introduced me as a lucha promotion. Why does it have to be a lucha promotion? Why? Why can't it just be a promotion?
It is a promotion.
But why?
You are a
But why
promoter.
label lucha? Why did you not say Marcus Mack from an American pro wrestling standpoint? It doesn't make sense. You guys love me, hate me, say what you want. I've been in this business in 1996 till now. I've paid my dues, like a lot of you have paid dues. But don't label me as a lucha promotion, because King of Indies is not a lucha tournament. I promote professional wrestling. Now, if I chose to do lucha, it's because I like it and I excel at it. But don't forget, before I did Pro Wrestling Revolution, I was promoting All Pro Wrestling. Okay, so as a whole, I think with the experience that Marcus has, the experience I have, and the experience that Kevin has, I think we're going in the direction where we can knock down those walls, and hopefully King of Indies can be the catapult. Because if once King of Indies is done, and we go back to the same shit, then we failed.
Right.
We failed. No matter who we put in this tournament, no matter who wins and no matter who comes out, at the end, if King of Indies does not bring us all together as Northern California, and that doesn't mean we're all going to merge and we're going to have territories, because that shit's dead, done, it's not going to happen. But if we don't start working with each other and weed out the bullshit, then we failed.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I think it's a unique thing to have. And for my transgressions, I apologize. When I introduced the word lucha into the conversation, to me, I'm using it as an adjective so that people know that, hey, Pro Wrestling Revolution, it's a promotion, period. Gabe is a promoter, period. But within that, the subcontext,
Instead of lucha,
there's
you could use great,
an outstanding.
fabulous, outstanding, tremendous.
In Gabe's defense, though, you see over here, you can't see it on camera, but all these walls are covered in Lucha Libre. But you know what? In Gabe's defense, every single flyer, All Pro Wrestling flyer that I put out, if you flip that son of a bitch out on the other side, it says Lucha Libre.
It even says L All Pro Wrestling on it. Yeah.
L. So now, that's some background on us. And what I was saying here was that you guys talk about unity in the scene or in the wrestling scene and the
Right.
community and stuff. And what I think is interesting is that you have three different people here from three different worlds who all shared the same idea of, in other words, this isn't, like the Kevin Gill show or Juggalo Championship Wrestling presents or All Pro Wrestling presents or Pro Wrestling Revolution presents. Everyone has taken a step back from their core responsibilities, their core projects.
Correct.
To give to me, it's something we're giving back to the community, and like you touched on, I think some people don't understand it, or they're jealous over a lack of involvement, or they want to be in it, or whatever it might be. But
Right.
you know how it is. In other words, have your own tournament. Then, like, there's only all we can do is the best we can do, and no one's done this out here, period, since you guys originally did it. So who better than to bring it back? Now, and speaking of bringing it back, so it's a 16-man tournament. It's 2 nights on the WWN Live Network, WrestleMania weekend, and we've already, at this point, even though this may be your first time peeping us with your peepers, we have already, in fact, announced 6 entrants into this tournament.
Correct.
Gabe Ramirez, do you care to articulate the first 2?
Well, we can go with B-Boy, which obviously was our first participant announced, and then I can touch on Rey Oris, formerly known as El Hijo de Rey Mysterio. Those are 2 that we have announced, and I think are great additions. Obviously, the world knows B-Boy, but B-Boy, I believe B-Boy has so much more to show, so much more to prove. And if you know Benny has sometimes will have that chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to shine more than people give him credit for. And I think Ray Orris is a guy that is a virtual unknown and that diamond in the rough. And I can't wait till everyone gets to see what we see and what we know.
Sure,
and so that's what King is about.
And bear in mind, too, B-Boy now just starting to get a shine on as well in Lucha Underground,
right,
where he's been doing a lot of stuff as of late, and I know their new season is about to kick off. Now, if I may, I can think of two exciting participants in this tournament. One is someone who had the opportunity, and I know you want to say his name, Marcus, but I'm going to jump right in here. He recently had the great experience going through the WWE developmental system for quite some time. Graduated originally out of the All Pro Wrestling Training Academy, and all around a great talent, a great human being, Jody Christopherson, I guess formerly known as Garrett Dillon. He is one of the participants in this tournament, as well as a man who many would say is the most decorated, longest running, most loved / most hated wrestler from our territory and beyond. Is, of course, a gentleman known simply as Wrestling Personified, Rick Luxury. Rick Luxury is another participant in the tournament. And Marcus Mack, do you care to cap it off by revealing the final two announced so far?
Well, let's see. We have Rick. We have B-Boy. We have Ray Horace. One man who's finding himself booked every single weekend, Northern California, Southern California. You see him on AWS, you see him on APW, you see him on Pro Wrestling Revolution, Gold Rush, SPW Extreme Champion, the Freak Jekyls. Now, Jekyls is a guy. Here's a kid who is going up and down the coast, busting his ass every single weekend. He was the head trainer for Roland Alexander's All Pro Wrestling Boot Camp for a number of years, and he did it out of the pure passion for this business. Just for wanting to give back. And you see some of the younger talent coming up here amongst Northern California and now getting a chance to do some things in Southern California. Jekyll's the jester, man. Jekyll's is phenomenal talent. He gets to apply his trade on that weekend.
Now, Marcus Mack, so passionate as you are about Jekyll's, did I detect like a tear and a quiver in your voice as you spoke of Jekyll's training regimen at All Pro Wrestling, or am I just reading into things?
Well, no, maybe I did get a little choked up for Jekyll's because I've seen the struggles that he's had to go through. You know, here's a guy who's busted his tail, man, but he's on this quote unquote island. He's not, he almost died in a car accident.
Thank you, because that's some of the things that we know that I don't think everybody else knows. That is a huge part of what makes him being so special and how far he's come. I mean, that I was there, in the hospital as him and James Jensen. Yeah. And I was there with Joseph's parents, and we thought that was it. We figured once he came out of the hospital, he was going to say his goodbyes and he'd be done. And look where we're at now.
Really excited to see what these men bring to the table in this tournament. KG, you want to go and fill in on number 6 here?
I think Marcus is
Oh yeah, sure. Unless you want to.
And that's good. You know what? I think the fact that you're choked up is real. I like that. That's good. That's real, because that way I don't get shit when I cry. So you guys saw Marcus cry, so you know what I mean. But no, I think that's awesome because it just shows the passion that we do have for what we're doing, and that sometimes we've had this talk on our last podcast, which was our first podcast, and all the other ones. This area needs passion. It lacks passion, and having you on board and doing what you're doing is passion. And when you have passion, the boys will respond.
Now, you talk about passion, you talk about being on board. Let's not forget, we talk about the three of us partnering up to put this spotlight back on California independent professional wrestling. As we see independent wrestling kind of at a rise, it feels like the tide is going high as we speak. And you look at the wrestlers that are wrestling on top, so to speak. And there's a company up north called World Wrestling Entertainment. They do a touring show. And they have a lot of their guys up there, from Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan and etc. Dean Ambrose. So many of their top talents are guys that were literally headlining the top independent shows, 2, 3, 4, whatever number of years ago they signed to WWE. Right. And it feels like as we see the independents become tomorrow's superstar, like right now it's happening, it kind of opens up all these spots on the indies, so to speak. And it kind of just, it's an exciting time to be in independent wrestling. It feels like the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? And our partners in all this, which is I'm trying to get to, it's a digression within a transgression, is of course our partners at WWN Live. So this allows not only everybody who's coming in for the WWN Live experience to see the Super Show, to see Evolve, to see Shimmer. You also get to see King of Indies. But to everybody watching at home around the world, you can peep it out on internet pay-per-view. And then after the fact, you can watch it on DVD or whatever. So we talk about what California's missing. And part of it is the spotlight for sure, and part of it is just having contemporary product out there.
All of this is cool and all and getting into everything, but KG, I pitched it to you to get that number 8 out. I was getting a little choked up there from my main man Jekyll's, but you know what?
Guy
you talked about
at OG.
There are 6 guys. There's 6 men announced thus far in this tournament.
Only 5 of which have been mentioned.
5 have been mentioned right here, and we talked about Seth Rollins and the top independent wrestlers who are on top in the world of entertainment. Well, you know what? All of those wrestlers who busted their asses on the independent to get to the top level, if you ask every single one of them candidly, I guarantee you, I have not met one in my travels that has not watched the King of Indies tournament, the 2001 version. And one man who competed in that 2001 tournament returns this year, 2015 King of Indies tournament. The nice guy, the innovator. He goes by so many different things, but his name is Vinny Massaro.
Absolutely.
Vinny Massaro has paid his dues in full. He's one of the baddest men in the ring, bell to bell, that I know. He is a NorCal locker room leader. He's been around for 15. The first time I ever stepped my foot into an all-pro wrestling garage or an APW, Vinny Massaro was there, wearing the stripes, busting his ass, doing everything that had to be done. A student of the game. And Gabe, would you like to tell him? No, he's a head trainer for Pro Wrestling Revolution. No.
See, the thing, God,
Going inside the business here.
but for you, the same way you feel that bond with Jekyll's, for me, Vinny is on the same level. Me and Vinny go back a long time. Okay, me and Vinny, I met Vinny when he first broke in APW. He's about, I think, 17, 18. And he was a tape dummer for APW, and I think he messed up an order, and Roland got rid of him. So lo and behold, there I was with a box of VHSs, and Vinny asked me, he's, "Oh, are you doing tapes now?" And I was scared out of my fucking mind, thinking he was going to backhand me. I go, "Yes, Vinny, I'm doing tapes." He goes, "Yes! I don't want to do those damn things anymore," right? And ever since then, me and Vinny, God, I don't want to say he lived with me, but he was pretty much living with me. I mean, I know my wife can attest that Vinny practically was living with me when we were dating. I love him. I love him as a person. He at one point, was, God, just like my, past my brother. He was just with me, and whether it be going to the gym, I mean, him and I don't know how many times, like, quick story, remember one time we were, myself, Steve Kennedy, and Vinny were going back, and we were going to head to, hey, let's go to the gym. It's open gym. Let's go fucking have a match. Let's go do something. Let's go. I don't fucking wrestle, but I just want to go. And my girlfriend at the time says, "Oh no, either you choose wrestling or me right now." So Vinny goes, got it. Vinny opened the door, we kicked her out, and we drove to the gym. And now, I kind of regretted it on the way to the gym because I had no one to come back to, what I mean? But that's how, I love him. Vinny is in the same category as a Rick Luxury, in the sense that you look at Vinny, you're not going to go, "Oh, that guy is a great wrestler." And unfortunately, because the way television has, progressed, you have to have a certain look to be good. But Vinny's just fucking good, period. The fact that he got to wrestle Mitsuhiro Misawa says a lot. Whether whoever put him in the ring chose, whatever reason they had, they trusted Vinny to be in the ring with an absolute living legend. And the fact that he was in that ring says it all. Says it all. And the fact that he lives here in Northern California, and he's not booked more, that has to, there's reasons. And for me, it sucks because he's my brother. But the fact that he is our head trainer, like you talked about, and obviously we're not going to go into this and that, but the fact that he is our trainer here at Revolution, it's only a gain for our students. It's just phenomenal, but just not because they'll only work for Revolution. That's a gain for the talent that goes to go work for All Pro Wrestling, that goes to work for Bushido, that go works for Gold Rush, that works for Revolution, that go works elsewhere. We need good training, and it's going to start with people like Rick Luxury and Vinny Massaro and Jekyll's. We're in the right path, and you throwing Vinny at me, I just know where you're coming from, how you feel about Jekyll's.
And just throwing it out there, all the, we kind of focused on some of the talent we've announced, and we kind of announced others as we were sitting here. But obviously, all of the talent chosen for this that we've announced so far has gone through this rigorous vetting process and et cetera that the Distinguished Pro Wrestling Council has entertained. So yeah, we say much respect, and we're honored and are grateful for all the participants that have been announced so far. And I think that also kind of leads us into that we have some exclusive announcements to drop right now.
Well, I mean, I think we've been very creative on how we announce this. I know in 2001 when we did it, we had message boards for what it's worth, and or splash pages or landing pages. And now, technology has brought us to where we're at now with podcasts and now video casts and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And I think it's awesome that we have the opportunity now to introduce 2 more. And I'm I'm excited, because now that brings the bracket from 6 to what?
It'll be 8.
8, so which means we're halfway there.
Halfway through, and it's only very early January. We are way on track to be letting the world know the scoop ASAP.
And in 2000, it was 8. So right now, after we announced 2, we've already equaled what 2000 was. So we're hoping to push that and meet that 16. But I think with the 8, after we announce 2 more today, I think we could have a tournament there alone.
For sure.
So I think the stage is all yours.
Well, all right then. Anything you want to add, Marcus Mack? I realize I've been holding your microphone, and I don't mean that in an untoward way.
No, man, I'm excited. I'm extremely excited to announce these next 2 names, and I don't think we should make them wait any longer, KG. I think that these 2 guys are hungry. They want to say their piece. They want to get in here. They want the world to know who they are. They want this platform, so let's give it to them.
All right. Well, let's bring them out first. A well-decorated veteran of the Northern California Ring Wars, a man who has held many title belts, has been embroiled in many top feuds and programs. A man is well known for his signature style between the ropes, as he is for the signature garb he wears upon entering the ring. Please welcome a San Francisco original, a good long-time personal friend of KG and the Kevin Gill Show. Please welcome the 7th participant in the 2015 King of the Indies, Mr. Dylan Drake.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Dylan Drake, man. How does it feel, brother? Here you are all of a sudden, you know what I mean? King of the Indies. It's happened to you. How does it feel?
I mean, I don't even know how to express how I feel. I mean, I was brought up in the APW boot camp. That's where I was trained. That's where I went. And since 2005, when I first stepped through those doors at the garage to be a part of the APW boot camp, all I ever heard about was King of Indies, King of Indies, King of Indies, King of Indies. And now, thanks to you 3 bringing it back around, it's basically like a dream come true, man. Like when all you hear about from Roland Alexander out of his mouth is King of Indies and how bad he wants to do it again, and the fact that you 3 gentlemen are paying homage to his memory, and that you 3 chose me to be a part of it. It's humbling.
Well, I think, to be honest, I feel like your work chose you for it. The fans chose you for it. Your dedication or hard work is what chose you for it rather than us choosing you. We were just the instrument. But I'm curious then, what are your thoughts then? So, this tournament, you've heard so much about it. What are your thoughts on the original tournament? Because I know it's obviously required viewing for every wrestler in every stage of their career.
Absolutely. I mean, there was always that tape sitting right on top of the VCR in the locker room. It was always there.
And if it wasn't there, it was inside.
Yeah,
it was inside the deck.
It was inside that deck for sure. So I think Gabe said best, we're not trying to repeat what King of Indies was.
Sure.
We're not trying to, basically one up it or to try to capture that sort of that shine and that gold that it was. I think we're trying to create our own, and I think we will. I think of the 6 names, now my 7th included, that you've announced so far. It's going to be something really special, just like it was back then.
Now, what would you say? There's a lot of people in the world that if they're outside the California scene, they might not have seen you wrestle before. What would you say to someone? How would you describe your style? What can they expect when they see you in the ring?
I would say go to my YouTube page and watch some matches.
And what would be the URL of that, my friend?
That's Dylan Drake 247. Find that on YouTube. But I think I'm gonna bring something special. I train in very old school style. I have a very old school approach to the way I work in the ring, and I think it's gonna both mesh really well with what's happening so far, but I also think it's gonna put me a little bit above top here. I think I know I've been around NorCal. I know a lot of the guys that you've announced really, really well, so I know what they bring to the table, and I'm gonna bring something a little special. I think. I don't want to give away all the secrets.
Well, of course, obviously, they've got to buy the pay-per-view or show up with those premium VIP front row and second row seats, which are now on sale on WWNlive.com.
You heard the man.
But I'm curious, was with the original tournament, is there any match that particularly stood out to you? Do you have a favorite match or memory from the original tournament?
I honestly, I'd have to go back and rewatch that original tournament. I just remember just really not being super hip to the game and sitting there and watching this and just kind of really, only watching WCW and WWF/WWE at the time and then watching that and then just watching like all those names you said, like I had no idea who AJ Styles was at first. You know what I mean? Sure. I had no idea who American Dragon was, and I had no idea who Low Key was. So it's like just watching that tape alone and all of those matches and all of those stars. And just the things that they did and the way they shined, I was just, it's hard to pinpoint just one.
No, for sure. It's a legendary tape, and it spawned, it launched a whole indie wrestling revolution with Ring of Honor and everything else. I'm curious then, I know you have other things to do. Obviously, a man dressed as immaculately as you is not trying to hang out at a wrestling dojo on a weeknight when there's bottles to be topped. Whatever, you know what I'm saying, bro. I'm not even going to go there and make
bottles
up
to be popped.
Bottles to be popped and tops to be dropped. But I digress because you talk about your career and training at APW and stuff. How long have you been a wrestler now? Like how many years have you been out there, brother?
I debuted in 2007, so it being come June of this year, it's going to be 8 years for me since the moment I stepped through those ropes and made my big debut, which wasn't really that amazing. But I think, as Gabe can attest, time has progressed and it's taught me a lot. You know what I mean? And these 8 years, I've wrestled some of the absolute best. And this tournament is only going to just produce and show the world that California has some of the absolute best talent and the best professional wrestlers that the world has to offer.
Well articulated, Dylan Drake, and as a San Francisco being one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world, it is interesting to note very, very, very few to no wrestlers actually come from San Francisco proper.
I think I'm the one.
Your credentials, correct?
I think I'm the San Francisco native as far as professional wrestling.
Yeah, the San Francisco original, the San Francisco treat. But welcome. It's an honor to have you.
Golden Gate.
That's what's up. It's an honor to have you in the King of the Indies for 2015. And I know that you were recently potentially hobbled with a fairly serious injury going the tail end of last year. But any update regarding that? How soon till your injured foot and leg area is once again soon kicking ass?
Well, it's still kicking ass. Now it just has a nice big boot on it to help. So still kicking ass. But that was hard for me. It happened in the very end of November, and I got the call from you all, I think 2 weeks beforehand, and then I broke my ankle. And it was just couldn't have been the absolute worst timing, but I don't know whether it was a curse to happen then or if it was a blessing that it happened when it did, because I'm going to be ready and back in fighting shape here in absolutely no time. I'm healing strong. I'm getting stronger. Yeah, that's right. And by the time this tournament comes around, there will be no weaknesses.
That's what's up. No Achilles ankle for you, Dylan Drake.
That's right.
Well, it's an honor to have you here on the King of Indies podcast. It's an honor to welcome you into the elite company. You're one of the elite 7, been announced, 7 down, less than 6 to go or something. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to do math now.
I don't recommend it.
It's getting late. I'm running out of gab. So, Dylan Drake, thank you, brother. It's an honor to have you, man.
Hey, thanks again. And thank you. The honor is all mine, and I look forward to shining. So,
hell yeah, man.
Shining the gold, baby.
Thank you, Dylan Drake. And keeping it moving here as we are, we're not just going to give you one name tonight. We're giving you 2 names tonight. And there's on the other side of the coin tonight, you have Dylan Drake on one side. On the other side, you have a man who, in the last number of years, in the last, I feel like, handful of years, is that I first became acquainted with his work. He's a man that has worked in front of extremely large crowds. He is a man that has worked in front of, has worked with extremely diverse talents. He's a man that brings a unique, I'd say, a unique energy to the ring, and is quite a decorated performer in his own right. So without further ado, we can talk more. I want to bring in some additional resources here to talk more, to give this man more of a fair, nice glossing, a fair coat of frosting, as I like to put it. But please welcome, it's an honor to introduce a wrestler of this magnitude and someone who I think is the embodiment of what this tournament is about, is giving talent that opportunity to be seen and setting a stage for people who have worked hard, who have paid their dues, and who have shined every time the bell rings to get that opportunity to perform. So with that all said, and with all those frivolities floating through the air above us like marijuana vapors, it is my honor to introduce, as the 8th entrant into the 2015 King of the Indies tournament, El Mariachi. Welcome, man.
Gracias.
Congratulations, mi amigo.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for having me. A pleasure, an honor to be a part of such an extinguished tournament like the King of Indies.
Now, I notice, in addition to your fancy mask and your full suited, very traditional wear, which I like, very sharp, a sharp-dressed man in and out of the ring, I noticed you are also bilingual. Are you fully Spanish-speaking?
Sí. El Mariachi, born in Mexico and raised in America, the best of 2 worlds, the new generation of luchador.
That's what's up. Well said. It's almost like you had that thought of in advance.
Claro que sí. It's all up here.
Now, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Like, when did you first see the King of the Indies tournament, knowing the kind of legacy and history of this? When did you first become aware of the original 2?
Well, for the King of Indies, I mean, for those that actually know me, when I started to train, I trained in APW as well, and it was there as well in the locker room. So once I signed up to the boot camp and I was at the boot camp, that's when King of Indies came up, and it was just repeated, and it was installed into our brains, basically. So that's when I found it, and then I started watching it, and then just incredible matches. And up until then, because in 2009, actually 6 years tomorrow would be when I actually signed up and was a part of the APW boot camp. That's when I found out, and I was just watching these incredible performers, incredible matches, and for me to be a part of it, it's simply amazing.
Well, that's amazing to think about, that here's this tournament that, revolutionizes the wrestling world, and then here's someone who just sees it and just catches that ride of momentum they were riding off that tournament and the exposure and beyond the mat and all that, and then there you were. Now, I'm curious, at that time in your life, you're still a young man, but you were especially a youngster then. what did you do to get the money? Like, how did you make that dream? A lot of people want to go to wrestling school. How did you come up with the money to get serious and start watching your diet and everything and get serious about making that commitment and deposit?
Oh, man, diet. I mean, I'm Mexican. Mexicanos, o tamales, arroz, de todo. But I mean, that was my dream. And I just remember as soon as I graduated high school, the first thing I did was, instead of going to college, I actually looked up, wrestling schools. And I looked it up, and I was informing myself where to go, what to do, how much money do I need to raise. And I started working jobs, and obviously I still kept up with my schoolings online. But and just looking up online, and then I saw the most recommended school was, at that time, was the APW boot camp. And after I submitted my notice to Roland, he called me and he told me how much I needed to raise, and that was my goal, was to raise that money, pay in full, and start as soon as possible.
Wow! So you did it the old-fashioned way. You worked for it. You
Yes.
didn't have the mysterious benefactor grandfather
No.
or the mom who slipped you like the check for a couple of G's under your tooth fairy money.
Yeah, my abuelo had to sell a couple burros, and then I got the money, and there you go.
Wow, man. Now, have outside of King of Indies and stuff like that, do you feel like there's what wrestlers have really influenced your style? Is there anyone that kind of you first saw that made you want to make that connection, that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Well, as the new generation, as I said, I mean, for me, the wrestler that I most looked up to, which was Eddie Guerrero. So that's the reason I joined wrestling, because I think that's the first wrestler that I saw myself like, wow, the chemistry that he had with the crowd, and then just his work ethic and everything that he did. To me, it was amazing. And then once I got into wrestling, once I got into lucha libre, once I started looking at all these, different styles, I got a lot into the Rey Mysterios. I got a lot into even the older wrestlers like Blue Demon, the original, and now his son, Blue Demon Jr., who happens to be my tag team partner at times, stuff like that. And then I just started seeing their technical and also high-flying lucha libre style. And then that's when I was like, I want all these embodiments into me. And
Well,
so
and
I
then
have
that-
different styles. Yes.
And that's amazing too, to have that kind of that grounded all pro wrestling training, so to speak, traditional purist pro wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then to also learn all these amazing international styles and subtleties and unique ways to work. I think that it's those kind of attributes, I think, that also helped get you selected for this tournament. You know what I mean? Because that's a very unique style to bring. A lot of people put on a mask or whatever and call themselves lucha or whatever, but it's another thing to truly not just know, but to master the art form.
Yeah, I mean, and just like my good friends, I have a lot of good friends that are luchadors. They earn their mask. You don't just, you don't just go to the flea market, buy a mask. You have to actually earn it. And for me to earn it, I mean, I had to get my butt kicked from my lucha trainer, Vaquero Fantasma, from El Gallo Tapado Jr., and then even Rey Tigre. They all had to, I had to earn this mask. I wasn't just, given it.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's what paying dues is about. Now, what would you say to someone who hasn't seen you work before? What can people expect from El Mariachi at the 2015 King of the Indies?
At the 2015 King of Indies, oh man, what can I say about myself? Well, I'm well-rounded. I'm a fusion of different styles. I can come at you American. I can do some lucha libre, some high flying. I can even do some Japanese style, which was taught by me by my current trainer, Vinny Massaro, who's also in the King of Indies.
Well, imagine that. What if your guys' paths eventually cross the King of the Indies?
Well,
Teacher and student?
Student versus teacher. That would be a great matchup. I've wrestled them before, and who knows? Maybe the powers that be might have to wrestle my trainer one more time. Let's see how that one goes. But I have different styles, like I was saying, so it's a fusion. You don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get. So it's just how it's going to be.
And anything for our listeners in Espanol on the Espanol podcasting syndication network, El Shining Wizards. It's a subsidiary. Do you have anything you would want to say to those listeners?
All right. I just hit the SAP button. So, y así es, the King of Indies, el rey de los Indies. Muy pronto, el mariachi y los 16 otras estrellas vamos a estar aquí luchando. ¿Quién es el mejor? ¿Quién va a ser el número uno? El rey. Y así los esperamos próximamente, el 27 y 28 de marzo, King of Indies, el rey de los Indies.
Mi amo es Kevin. Que pasa, King of the Indies, motherfucker. That's what's up. Well, hey, why don't we call get the rest of the crew back out here? I know we got Gabe Ramirez is thrilled to death in the wings. We got Marcus Mack, Dylan Drake. might as well maybe do a little farewell for the people here, say goodbye, a little sign off, if we will. And any closing thoughts, Marcus Mack? I don't want to, again, I feel like I'm manipulating your time here on the microphone.
Okay, G, I would never stop you from manipulating any time with a microphone. You're beautiful on this stick. You're a beautiful human being. You're a great man. King of Indies comes your way. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I'm standing alongside the two latest participants, Dylan Drake, El Mariachi. Congratulations, my brother.
Gracias.
What can be said that hasn't been said? March the 27th and 28th. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling funky. I want to get there now, KG.
That's what it's all about, man. You know, Gabe, again, it's an honor to be a part of this. I think it's such a cool thing, putting some positive energy, taking a step outside politics and everyone worried about their own thing being the best. Let's step outside of ourselves and put something back into the community and scene that's given us all so much. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, and I love hearing these stories. You know, I love hearing how Dylan broke in, and I do remember Dylan's debut. I actually remember Dylan being the ring announcer, and I remember actually giving Dylan his name as Dylan Drake. He hated it. He probably still hates it now, but he's like, Dylan Drake. He's like, oh God, I hated it. Da, 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 da. And then finally, when he made his debut, we were all pumped up. He was doing a springboard off the top rope, and what happened, Dylan?
I was wearing dress shoes. That's all I'm gonna say. Wearing dress shoes.
And he slipped, and I remember him coming back and going, well, there goes my fucking debut. And he walked out back in the locker room, you know, but this is a cool part for me. You know, maybe it's because I am getting older and I don't want to accept it, but I've seen a lot of these guys, you know, start and develop. And I still remember Dylan training and becoming the ring announcer and me teaching him at promo class and him being solid and then him developing into what he is now. I remember El Mariachi here coming to me, you know, after APW boot camp and looking for something different. And we retrained him with Cafu, Robert Thompson, Vinny Massaro, Vaquero Fantasma, and our cast. And he's right, you know, he is a fusion of what this business has become. But for me, it's just awesome seeing the people who are here, who started with me as fans, who've all developed and made their niche. And I think King of Indies is going to do just that for everybody. You know, after we announce the next 8 and the 8 here, they're going to make their niche one way or the other. You know, these names will no longer be unheard of. You know, hopefully, you know, when you hear El Mariachi, you just won't think Revolution. You'll think that guy who had that kick-ass match in King of Indies. When you think Dylan Drake, you won't no longer hear a San Francisco native. You'll be hearing Dylan Drake. That's that one guy who had this incredible match or who won the King of Indies.
Sure.
That's what our goal is, you know. And at the end, again, I reiterate this to everyone who's watching, you know, who is in California, especially Northern California. Our goal is to everyone to unite to make this work. It's the King of Indies. Let's make it happen, guys. All egos aside, you know, all politics aside, it's for the best of what this wrestling community needs and was, I believe, what Roland would want. And it's unfortunate that Roland had to pass away for this to happen, but it's going to happen.
And powerful words, Gabe. And I think it goes without saying to everyone out there in the world, whatever your involvement is in wrestling, if you believe in the spirit of DIY, of pro wrestling, of honoring mentors and friends and all that stuff, it's real easy to follow at King of Indies. It's real easy to like us on Facebook. It's real easy to just share those statuses. It's as simple as doing that, sharing what we're putting out there to the world, telling your friends about it. If you got a little change in your pocket, pick up a ticket, order the pay-per-view, but support it in some way possible. It's very easy. We've created this positive momentum. It's now rolling down a hill. Everyone is welcome to jump on at any time, join the team, and help us make our mark in independent wrestling. Put the spotlight on California. Absolutely. And let the world know that it's going down, man. And we can't do it without your support. So that's why we're here. We're trying to deliver you multiple forms of content, of entertainment, and this is all just the precursor. You know what I mean? This is just to set the table, brother. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I think we're all covered here.
No, without a doubt, man. Only last thing that needs to be said is please, you know, this is like Gabe said, like KG said, this is our chance to unite. This is our chance for the West Coast to stand up and say, hey, guess what? We alive. We exist. We're here. So I welcome the fans from Supreme Pro Wrestling, from Gold Rush Pro Wrestling, from Pro Wrestling Bushido, from all of Northern California, the Southern California promotions, AWS, all of them. You know what I'm saying? We know you're gonna be out here for WrestleMania weekend. Let's, as California as a whole, stand up and say hi. We out here, see what we got. And if you are not from California, plan on coming out here, I highly suggest you come out and see something because you're gonna like it. I guarantee that.
And the thing is, too, I feel like with all the stuff that's going on WrestleMania weekend, there's obviously WrestleMania. There's everything that goes with that. There's Ring of Honor. There's every possible thing being run. But the truth is there's only one show the entire WrestleMania weekend that's going to have a totally unique and original card that's not the same people that wrestled 5 times already that day and can barely walk when they get back to the hotel. These are people that have been working and training and sacrificing and getting ready to make it happen that time. And if they're lucky enough to wrestle twice on back-to-back nights, that'll mean they're on their way to becoming the 2015 King of Indies. For Marcus Mack, for Gabe Ramirez, for El Mariachi, for Dylan Drake, I am your boy KG Kevin Gill, and we will holler at you next time on the King of Indies podcast. Follow us on Twitter at King of Indies, and we all have our own shit too, so peep it out. Peace out.
Viva.